Hello everybody and welcome to It All Depends on the Situation, our official second episode. So, I am your host Eric, and I'd like to say that this episode is going to be more focused on one of our favorite video games, my favorite video game, the Halo franchise. So, I'd like to consider myself kind of a Halo veteran. I'm here and joined by my co-host and wife, Ashley Brown.
Hello.
Yep, who's a newcomer to Halo, and my childhood friend, Kevin Kissick, who's our Halo lorist.
Ha. I've dedicated way too much of my time to being a nerd on this subject.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kevin, if you have any questions about Halo, Kevin's our go-to guy. So he's read the books, comics, movies, everything. So
Nobody's ever asked me questions about it, so that's cool. I've gotten really far in my life with that one.
And I am very much new to the Halo party.
Well, we've recently played through all the games from, Halo Reach all the way up through Halo 4. So
Chronologically.
Yeah, through chronological order. So, which honestly I don't think I've ever done before until we played it.
Yeah.
So, because I've always played them like when they released.
Yeah.
So,
I don't remember if the MCC has a chronological order playlist on there.
It might. I think it does. So, but we've never played that type of thing, like that playlist setup. So,
And I'm far too much of a wimp to do the lasso.
oh my god, I couldn't imagine.
Not a glutton.
Lasso is Legendary All Skulls On is the acronym for it. Lasso.
If you like torturing yourself.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Damage table is amplified. The hardest enemies can't recover shields, like unless you melee or something like that.
Do that if you're a real man. I'm not a real man.
Yeesh. So,
I would last about 2 seconds.
yeah, it's a rough one.
Yeah.
So,
I can't do it.
yeah, they didn't even add the skulls until the second game, I'm pretty sure, though.
Correct.
So, that was the big thing. It was more considered an Easter egg in a video game. So,
I think the only skull we did was the Grunt's birthday party.
oh, yeah.
That was the
That's
only
an
one I
easy
did.
That's a fun one.
That was fun.
The first time we discovered that one. We'll get into that when we talk about Halo 2. But
The Viva Pinata sound.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. Anytime you shoot a grunt, in the head, it just confetti become flying out. Yeah, we'll get started with what? Starting with Halo Reach, right?
Chronologically.
Because chronologically, that would have been really the first one. But that one released in what, 2010?
Yeah,
2012?
2010, I think.
Yeah. It was around that time.
Yeah.
So, Reach was an interesting one.
Yeah, that was far different from the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because it did the sprint and the loadout kind of system. And
Yep. Well, they had a whole new thing where you could basically have like armor locks and like special things you could do.
don't get the internet started on armor lock. It broke the game.
Yeah.
I never used that, really, when we played.
It was such a troll mechanic.
Yeah.
to
I never
have.
really used it.
You could do things where, like, if, an enemy vehicle is, like, coming at you very fast and you use armor lock, they would smash into it and they would everybody on that vehicle would explode.
Oh,
You could, if you let it go until it runs out, it would EMP anybody that was around. You could shed sticky grenades and just absolutely halt the combat
Yep.
forever.
Yeah, there was a way to get around, because if you stuck somebody and you had armor lock, if a person knew they got stuck, hit armor lock, it would explode and they'd be fine.
well, I remember because we started with Reach, and you had the sprint, but then going to Halo 1 after that, and then you couldn't sprint anymore, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
I do have a clip in my Xbox video thing somewhere from Reach. Either I armor locked or got armor locked. There was a rocket involved. It bounced off, and either I killed someone with it or it killed me. I don't remember, but it was phenomenal. I think it was me that got killed.
I've had many moments like that playing Halo, where just the ricochet shot come back and get you. It's like, dag nabbit.
Remember the guy in Halo 3 that got killed by a traffic cone?
Yes.
And they gave him recon? When recon
He got
armor-
killed by a traffic cone.
Yeah.
Somebody,
On
they used a rocket or a sniper, it hit a traffic cone, rebounded back, and it hit the guy in the head and killed him.
Yeah.
So he was literally killed by a traffic cone.
Or the fusion coil exploded or
That
something.
might have been it, yeah.
And the little traffic cone piece of geometry came flying and killed him.
Oh my god.
And because of that, they gave him the recon armor, which was the thing to have in Halo 3.
Yeah. It was this armor that you could basically be bestowed upon by, the powers that be at
only.
Bungie.
Yeah.
So
That or if you beat them in
Reach didn't
multiplayer.
have its own multiplayer, though, did it? I think it was just an extension on Halo 3's.
No, it had its own.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it ended up having like some kind of map pack. Or am I thinking of ODST? Maybe it was ODST or something.
Either that or Combat Evolved Anniversary used the Reach multiplayer.
That's what it was. Yeah. The original Combat Evolved.
Yeah, I couldn't get into
Anniversary.
Reach's multiplayer. I liked it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was a different type of feel.
Yeah.
So
I also wasn't good at it, so maybe that's what it was. Not that I was ever good at any of them, especially Halo 1.
I have never played Halo online multiplayer at all. I've never.
it's tricky.
It's really hard these days.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's so friggin' good.
Oh yeah. So
It's like MCC makes me want to cry.
it is like a heck of a testament, though. They were able to basically bring all those games into Master Chief Collection and have a multiplayer that's able to kind of balance through all the multiplayers because they're all different in their own way.
After having such a garbage release, everything was broken. The multiplayer didn't work.
That was a horrendous release. And oh my God, I remember because that was the last Halo Midnight release we went to. All three of us were there.
I remember
at that one.
going to that one.
Yeah, went to GameStop and we picked up Master Chief Collection. We came back home and it said that it was this gigantic 8-hour download or something like that.
Oh yeah, you guys never got to play it because the download took too long.
Did that come out after Halo 5? Halo 5 did the same thing. We're like, yeah, we'll play it tonight. 8 hours later.
But didn't we go to the GameStop in Wadsworth?
We did.
To go pick it up, and then I remember you went to play it, and it's like, oh, this is going to take 8 hours.
We were
to
all
download.
excited because we've done Halo Midnight releases before. We go to GameStop, we have the game pre-reserved, and then we pick up the game, plop it in your Xbox or whatever console, and then off you go. But the newer ones, nope. You got to sit there and wait for it to download first, then you can play it.
When we get to the Halo 3 topic, we have to bring up the midnight release for
Oh,
that.
100%.
It has to come back.
I'm trying to reflect back on the Halo Reach Midnight release. Did we go to that one?
I think if we did, we just swung in and grabbed it because there was nobody waiting, and we just walked in, grabbed it, and left. Same with ODST. There was nobody there.
Well, ODST, I kind of figured, even before it came out, I figured it was a half-baked game because all Halo games sold for around $60 when they first came out, and ODST was the only one that came out for $40. I'm like,
oh, it was 60.
I thought it was cheaper. I'm like,
It was supposed to be, I think.
why in the world is it, because I'm just like,
I'm pretty sure it was a full price when it first came out because everybody was pissed that it was supposed to be an expansion.
And really, it should be more like Halo 2 ODST rather than Halo 3 because it takes place during the Halo 2's timeline.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know why they obviously want to go with the naming because Halo 3 sounds more advanced than Halo 2.
That and it was built on that engine.
Correct. So, but I still feel like it's a bit of a misnomer just for marketing purposes.
It is.
But
I think they could have just stuck with Halo ODST, but...
But yeah, Halo Reach, that midnight release. I think you're right. I think we just literally showed up. There was no line there compared to when we went for Halo 3's midnight release. It was around the entire building.
I think the last midnight release I remember having people was Halo Wars, hilariously.
Yeah.
Because that one came out and there was 20 people there.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought the special edition or whatever that comes in the bigger tin.
Yep.
And I remember having to actually wait to get in there and get that.
Yeah. I remember the Halo Reach special edition came with all kinds of stuff, which is awesome because it came with Halsey's journal.
Yeah, there was the special edition and the legendary, but it had the Noble Team statue thing.
Yep, and there was a console version too, which I don't think we ever got the special edition consoles.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that one is kind of a gray one, I think. So there's actually a guy showing a retrospective of Halo. He showed us his Halo Reach console. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there was a Halo 5, two Halo 5 ones. The one. There was a Forerunner one, and
I've seen that one for sale a lot too.
Yeah, that one's cool. I'm pretty sure that's the blue and silver one. It was really neat.
That looks nice.
I don't remember what the other one was.
And then I always remember back to the Halo 3 Xbox 360 that had the copper CD tray and the rest of it was kind of an olive green color. Yeah. That looked really cool.
I forgot that was when they changed the 360 designs. They made them smaller.
Yep. Yeah, after the Halo 3 one, I think it was the Halo Reach one was the next generation Xbox 360. So, because it had more of the sleek design.
The 360s were the ones they made smaller, right? You had the little R2D2 one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 360 still.
Yeah, it's just a different generation of that.
We still have that one, don't we?
We do. That one still works.
Yeah, because they did the thing with the 360s twice then with the goldish reflective tray.
Yep.
And the green casing.
Mm-hmm.
And they did the original Xbox had the clear green.
Yep, for the original Halo Combat Evolved Special Edition.
Yeah.
That was always a cool one, which we never got. I always wanted to have one of those, but it looked cool.
You did have one.
The green one?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever did.
Maybe it was Ryan.
Maybe was it Ryan's?
My brother Ryan might have probably had it then. But, yeah, we went through many Xboxes back in the day with all that stuff.
Yeah. They were easy to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think we ever did, Halo LAN parties with Reach, did we? That would have been probably past that point.
Very, very little if we did.
Because that's at the point where Xbox Live had really taken off. So if you're going to play together, you play on Xbox Live at that point.
Right.
So.
Well, I went to one of your LAN parties.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one where Robin showed up?
No, that was way.
No, that
before.
was before my time.
That's another inside joke for another day.
But what game? I can't remember which one that was. It would have had to have been like 2009, maybe.
It was probably Halo 2 because that was kind of our go-to. It might have been a Halo 3.
Yeah, we dabbled kind of between the two of those.
Yeah. The Halo party or Halo LAN party days were kind of a thing of the past as soon as, 3 started coming out and you had more Xbox Live focused things.
Yeah.
So. I never got to experience your full Halo party.
Where we had 32 people all crammed in one house.
That was fantastic.
2 16-player parties going at the same time.
That was great.
Yep. Pizza for days.
Yeah. Max walked out with an entire pizza.
I still get a lot of things. So I went to go pick up a couple old Xboxes from a guy on Facebook Marketplace, and I told him what I was buying them for, and he said, "Please invite me." I still think there's a lot of people out there that are trying to chase that high of being able to be part of a LAN party again, because that was a heck of an experience back in that day.
Because that was when all that kicked off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a fun experience, and I was a big time host for our neighborhood.
Yeah,
everybody came over to my house, and we would we deliberately set up multiple boxes, multiple copies of games, and routers and Ethernet cables strewn all about the house, going down, hallways and staircases.
And people showed up with TVs and consoles and copies of games, wires.
I mean, where all did you? I mean, were people literally just everywhere?
They were all over the house.
In the garage? Did you have people in the garage?
That was later on in 2000, probably 7 and 8. We started putting people in the garage. Then we found out the moisture outside wasn't good for the consoles or TV, and it burned out some Xboxes.
It was an Xbox that started smoking, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we found that out the hard way. It's like, probably not good to mix electricity with moisture.
Yeah,
so.
We had people everywhere.
Yeah. Niederheiser basically jumped out my window the one time.
Yeah, the second story window.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember. I don't think he played a single ounce of Halo that day. I think he just did wacky shit.
Yep. That sounds like him.
He just came to experience.
Yeah. He was just there.
Yep.
Party.
He was a hoot, man. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we had
wiry.
We had a TV in my closet, my bedroom. We had one in my main bedroom. We have multiple downstairs, I think, facing away from each other.
Yeah. There was occasionally one or two in the next room over.
Mm-hmm.
One or two in Ryan's room. A couple out in the living room.
Yeah, it was nuts. But basically, we did that so that we would prevent people from doing what was called screen cheating, where people would look over at someone else's screen and realize, oh, that's where they're at, and they would just go and hunt them down. So this is a way for everybody to have a more balanced game. We could all play together, and you could literally hear people, as soon as you killed their player, would scream either through the microphone or you'd hear them through the floor downstairs.
And then your mom would yell at us for so much profanity.
Mm-hmm.
So much
my God, I can't even imagine your mom and dad. Hey.
Yeah. It was a wild time.
Yeah.
So my parents were of the opinion, though, it's better to have the party there than have it, kids go elsewhere and get into shenanigans. So
what kind of pizza was it? Was it Pizza Joe's?
It was Pizza Pan. They got a lot of stuff from back in the rise of the Pizza Pan days, where you bought one pizza, get 2 free.
Yeah. Or they're like, here's a pizza. Take all the ones we have in stock currently, and your dad would show up 30 pizzas for $12.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one where it's if you picked it up, you get 2 free, or something like that?
I think so.
Yep. So there was that, and they had a deal for ribs too, where it's you buy a rack, get 2 racks free. I mean, oh my gosh, it's just insane.
No wonder they
went out of
business.
business, right?
Definitely went out of business with that kind of model. It's my gosh. But that definitely led to a lot of fun with all the Halo parties back in the day. And then my middle brother Ryan, he ended up dabbling in a little bit of Xbox modding. So he started oh my gosh, when he got the Killtrocity map packs and all that stuff.
Is that what that was?
Oh yeah.
Everything was wild back then.
And then Lance ended up giving him a busted Xbox Live account that he just wanted to junk.
Oh, yeah.
So Ryan actually was able to moderate Halo or Halo 2 onto the old Halo 2 Xbox Live.
Yeah.
And he was basically able to just go in for 6 hours, because there was a 6-hour limit.
Is that what it was?
Before if they initiated a ban, you'd be banned in 6 hours. So he was able to go into a match and just have an absolute blast. So he'd shoot a pistol and a tank would pop out and all kinds of crazy stuff.
He ruined a lot of evenings, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Some of that stuff was
He recorded a lot of that stuff on a VHS cassette tape, and it was, oh my gosh.
There was either people that would be really pissed off about it in the post games, or people would be let me in your party, let me do that too. They were just willing to sacrifice their account.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Those were very interesting times. Yeah. Going way off the rails here for Halo Reach.
Tangents on tangents. We could do that all day.
Mm-hmm. But Reach I always thought was interesting because we read the books, like The Fall of Reach, which the original version of Halo Reach, the book series, really deviated a lot from the actual story. Didn't they actually end up adding an insert about the teams that were in the game called Noble Team?
I think they re-released Fall of Reach, the book, later on after 343 took over. They re-released it, and it had some stuff in there to kind of tie the two things together, because in Bungie's opinion, the games were your primary lore, not the books. So games first, then books. And so when Eric Nyland wrote the Fall of Reach, they kind of thought their game superseded that. And there was always a lot of timeline issues. So people have gone to great lengths on the YouTubes and the internets to make it work out, and I think for now they kind of have it figured. But like the Cortana thing being in the Forerunner ship, which was weird, so there's that, and she knows Forerunner stuff before going to Halo, which was neat, I guess. And the speculation is that's where she got the coordinates for Halo, but it was also supposed to have come from a rock they found on another planet.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of retconning and crossovers and stuff, which I don't mind. I don't really think about it too much.
Right.
Do you have the Reach book, don't you?
The original Fall of Reach book by, was it Eric Nyland that wrote that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've read that one. Like, we ended up buying like a bundle pack of the original three novels back in the day. So I've read it. It's been a long time, but I never read First Strike.
Dude, First Strike's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Because did they go with the script? Because there was the Fall of Reach, the Flood, which is basically Halo Combat Evolved. That's the first,
with more stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious that the most boring parts of that book are the parts that are actually gameplay.
Right. They don't even talk about Alpha Base. And that was a big deal in that book.
Yeah, Alpha Base and the Covenant side was a huge part of that book.
Yeah, I completely missed out on Halo Combat Evolved. And then, First Strike, I never read.
First Strike was so good. It was so cool.
Do we have that?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the original trilogy of books. So I think that was written by Eric Nyland as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, I think I started reading that one.
Did you?
Yes.
It's cool.
I think I did.
Is that thing canon with the Halo lore?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, for sure, yeah. That was...
when does it take place? Is it right after Halo Combat Evolved, before Halo 2?
I think it's before.
It's the bridge between Combat Evolved and Halo 2. Because everybody thought that Johnson died in Combat Evolved, but then he shows up almost immediately in
Magically
First
back.
Strike. Yeah.
Because doesn't the book start with him?
No.
Or am I thinking...
He's very early in there.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different book that I read, but I did start reading one of the Halo books.
Combat Harvest, I think, was another one. That had Johnson on the cover.
Wait.
Contact Harvest had
I started reading Contact Harvest. That's what I started
That's also
reading.
a good one.
Yeah. That's like a very, very beginning, I think.
My problem with Halo 3 and Contact Harvest will always be that they took the brutes from Halo 2, which were just Chewbacca, and then they made them elites.
Right.
With shiny chrome armor and weaponry, and then...
Made them way easier to kill,
and they took the brutes from Halo 3 and put them in Contact Harvest 30 years prior, and I just didn't think it flowed all that well. But Joe Staten did a phenomenal job with that book, and I still love that book. It's just, I don't like the brutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that early.
I've always preferred fighting the elites over the brutes anyway.
Yeah, I feel like they would have been a way better enemy to start the whole war thing with, just because they're actually dicks. Not that the brutes aren't, but...
Yeah. I feel like they're better balanced, because the brutes, when they go freaking berserk, especially in Halo 2, you're just gone.
I like that for the brutes. Like, that's brute. But then they made the brutes elites, because the elites weren't there anymore. And they gave them the gameplay mechanics and stuff to shields, armor, all that jazz. And I don't like it. I thought Reach balanced them nicely. Still gave like the captain's shields and the armor and stuff and the hammers, and I thought they flowed much better. They looked weird. I hated the way they looked because they had no fur at all.
Yeah, basically it's all polished off.
Yeah, and they have some weird tattoos, but the armor looked cool at least.
But yeah, I always thought the Halo 2 brutes were just so much more, brutish.
Yeah.
And then there was no brutes in Reach, were there?
Yeah.
That's right, there was. Yeah, when you drop into that city.
Yeah, you show up in New Alexandria, and that's all that's there.
That's right. So technically, there were brutes in the supposed to be prequel game before Halo Combat Evolved, and then there's no brutes in Halo Combat Evolved.
Correct.
And then you go to Halo 2, and that's where they reintroduce them, supposedly. If you're playing it in chronological order.
In the books, the first time they show up is in First Strike. Because they're in a command and control, a Covenant command and control center. They're in that place. They're just like honor guards, though. But then you play Halo Wars, and they're all over the place in that game. Even one of the main boss people you can play as in multiplayer is a brute.
Yep. He's got that special power where what's it like? He has like a big generative ball or something like that like damages things.
I can't remember. I don't think I ever played as him.
I'm actually going to pause the pod right here and actually get a quick plug-in. I figured it'd be actually very fitting because I do have an audiobook that kind of ties in with everything here. Seeing as we're talking about Spartans, I happen to have narrated a local food guidebook to, of all places, Athens, Greece. If you get a chance, it's now available on Audible, narrated by yours truly, Eric Brown. It is actually called Eat Like a Local Athens, Greece by author Meggie Aladinaj. It was actually one of my really favorite books to narrate, so if you get a chance, definitely check it out. Now on Audible. And let's head back to the pod.
Reach. How do you start? You start that on the farm?
You start that. It was the only Halo where I feel like you're a fully customizable player that you create as Noble 6.
Yeah.
So, which I thought was kind of a cool dynamic. So you basically create your own player. So, and you could actually like upgrade different like components. Like you could have a metallic arm and all kinds of crazy stuff in that game.
I liked that about Reach.
I like the custom armor thing, but I also really miss, like in the books, like the first 3 books, all the armor was identical. You weren't supposed to be able to tell the Spartans apart.
Right. They were all supposed to be uniform, all the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And their suits actually cost as much as like a cover or like a actual like military grade ship, wasn't it? A frigate.
Supposedly, with the amount of money that Halsey spent on the armor, like the Mark IV armor, you could have built a small battle group.
That's just nuts.
Yeah. Because of I think it's mostly the microfusion plants on the back.
So it's basically like a traveling warship.
Yeah.
Is what these Spartans are donning.
Wasn't it more than a ship?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what Kevin
Just
said.
one suit
Basically
of armor?
Like a
Yes,
fleet.
I think so. Yeah, they could build a small, several ship battle groups. Or like the suit, each suit is supposed to be more than like a destroyer, I think.
That's crazy.
Yep. So that's the type of power they're packing. Although it's like on par with the elites. So
that was another thing. Is like early in the books, the elites were supposed to be on par with the Spartans, like pretty evenly matched. And then later on, 343's era, there is a specific quote in, I don't remember the name of the book. It's Young Chief, written by Troy Denning. It's very good. And I cannot for the life of me come up with that name. But there's a line in that book that says the elites are comparable to ODSTs, and that against maybe it's another book that says, again, a Spartan against an elite is never a fair fight for the elite. The Spartan will always win. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't think I ever liked that. And then one of the Karen Travis novels, one Spartan just handily destroys like 4 brutes with her bare hands. Or gauntleted hands. I don't think there's much weaponry involved. And then other times, brutes just absolutely decimate Spartans. So I don't think the balance there is quite right, but I guess it could vary depending on the Spartan. But yeah, the against a Spartan, it's never a fair fight thing never sounded right because the chief almost gets absolutely wrecked by one special ops elite.
Right. And that's the thing in Combat Evolved, too. They talk about, like, the different levels of, like, because there was, in that one, had black elites, right?
Yeah, I wish they would.
That was, like, double the shields of, like, other elites.
Yeah, they would huck and chuck grenades like a fiend.
Oh, yeah. It was just crazy.
I don't know why they ditched the black armor. It looks so cool.
It did. Because those were supposed to be, like, special ops guys, weren't they?
They're the same guys you fight with as the Arbiter in the first couple levels. The guys that are in purple armor. Same thing, but the black looked way cooler.
Yep. Because I thought that's how they distinguished them. Like I thought that like the different colors signified if they had stronger like shielding capabilities. Yeah, at least in the first Halo game.
Yeah, the first couple it was the shielding and rank thing. Like the blue guys were basic.
Yeah, blue guys were almost cannon fodder, and then red guys a little bit harder. Yellow guys were what, captains?
Yeah, the gold were like the field masters, field marshals. And then Reach did the thing where they had armor permutations instead. The colors didn't really seem to matter as much.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of goofy.
And
then there was the Zealot class, which were white or something like that.
Ultras.
Yeah.
Those guys showed up in Halo 2 and they sucked. They were horrible. Because you get near them and they would pull out an energy sword and just destroy you.
Yeah, and they just run barreling at you and it's just like, well, fate accepted.
Yeah, you put on the Thunderstorm Skull and every elite turns into those guys and it's just the worst time out. Yeah,
that's part of Lasso. No thanks.
Yeah, it's not fun. Getting smacked by those guys and the white grunts all the time.
But Reach, I always referred to as basically like a Pearl Harbor in space. Like basically an entire planet that didn't expect to be,
yeah, they got
thoroughly like blasted by the Covenant.
Yeah, in the books it was just that they showed up that was another thing with the books to the game was that Chief and Blue Team and a bunch of other Spartans left on the I almost said the Pearl Harbor, thanks, on the Pillar of Autumn. They left Reach and were headed out system, and then the Covenant shows up, and it's bad, and they're destroying the ships, they're hitting the planet, and Keyes turns the ship around, takes them back. A bunch of the Spartans deploy to the surface of Reach, and Chief and Linda and maybe Kelly, I don't remember. There's 3 Spartans that go to a space station to get a ship's nav data because Cole Protocol. And at this point in the books, all this is happening, so it's kind of immediate. But if you look at Halo Reach, the Covenant's been there for a month already. Like, they leave, Master Chief and his team leave with Keyes in like August, and the Covenant's been there since July doing the Halo Reach game. So they did a good job of covering it up, I guess. But then something else happens in one of the books where Keyes knows they're there. Like, he knows something. Like, I think it was Halsey's idea to use Reach as bait.
Whoa.
To bring the Covenant there, because they needed a sizable target to bring a sizable Covenant fleet to capture a ship.
Well, I say it worked.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah, it was-
definitely
so-
baited.
Yeah, it screwed them heavily.
I was going to say, because that was like their main military installation planet.
Yeah, that was their last inner colony, really, and primary naval yard.
And they got blasted.
Yeah, thanks.
So
Thanks, UNSC.
It basically got what they termed glassed, right?
Yep.
Where these Covenant ships just basically come in, drop a giant beam, and it just literally glasses the planet through like superheated plasma.
Melts the surface
And
silica.
makes it unsustainable for any type of life to go on the planet.
Yep.
So
Later on, people come back and get rid of the glass and try to grow new stuff and try
Something
to
again.
terraform the planet again.
Did the whole planet get glassed?
Most of it.
basically, yeah, the majority of the planet did, and they just got absolutely just destroyed.
You'll find if you go through First Strike, they do go back, and most of the planet is glassed, except for a middle part where there's a mountain range, and that's where the primary base was for Dr. Halsey, and that's where, spoiler alert, a bunch of the other Spartans are at.
Yep.
But
Well,
the
that-
book's been out for 20 years.
That's
So
also
that's fine.
the very beginning of Reach, where it shows your custom helmet, kind of like what with a big old bullet hole
Glass
through
in
it.
yeah.
It's got the mountain in the background, so it's probably that part right there,
Probably.
right?
That's, I think, supposed to be Menakite Mountain where Castle Base is. And Shadows of Reach, another Troy Denning book, they go back.
Interesting.
It's a good read. It's a little slow, but it's good.
Yeah. I did enjoy the story of Reach just in the game because some critic referred to it as who could have the noblest death competition.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, that basically sums it up.
Yeah.
Because you end up joining up with Noble Team as Noble 6. First you were a lone wolf, and you're brought on board because they lost someone on Noble Team.
Yeah, if you watch the one trailer for Reach, there's a cat running with like the nuke on her arm, and she gets hit by a fuel rod cannon. And I think that's how she loses her arm.
Oh, gosh.
And then previous Noble 6, Tom B312, I think, grabs it, jetpacks up into the Covenant cruiser and blows it up with him in it.
I was going to say, I never heard of Tom.
Yeah,
so.
that's the original Noble 6.
Interesting. I always wondered who that was.
Yeah.
So, and then you're designated as the new Noble 6. They just call you what?
6.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, you don't get a name.
6. It wasn't until ODST where you take the moniker as what, the rookie?
Oh, yeah, that's a different character.
Yep.
He has a little bit of a backstory also. A little bit of a book. There's a novel sort of thing for him.
We'll get into that when we get into ODST. But yeah, with Reach, like you get introduced to the team. Basically, you go out and about. They do a lot of scanning around, and they find out oh my gosh, the Covenant are here. Oh my gosh, they're
He's like, yeah, there's no way the Covenant are here because George is surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But all the deaths for Noble Team are very specific to them, if that makes any sense. Like
George is such a caring guy and everything, and he's looking out for everybody, and then
what is
he basically he throws Noble 6 because they set up he has to manually launch this nuke in order to
it's the
activate a
drive.
slip space drive on a ship, and then it wrecks this.
Yeah.
What they think is the only ship that's basically trying to invade Reach.
Yeah. And
So
then as soon as he does, the Covenant fleet shows up.
yeah, then how many different of the exact same type of ships show up in
That's the
atmosphere.
Arbiter's fleet.
Yeah,
Yeah, he shows up with the whole fleet of Particular Justice.
incoming spacecraft. Incoming spacecraft.
Yeah, like
You're just
Carter.
oh my god,
Carter crashes the Pelican. He's the captain that goes down with the ship. Cat was the brains of the operation. Gets shot in the
shot
head.
in the head.
Emil, I can't really remember what his thing was. Knife, maybe.
He got a knife in the back.
Yeah.
Or it was like an energy sword in the back.
Yeah.
And then basically he was still alive. He's like, I'm ready. How about
Yeah, he
you?
pulls out the knife and kills the zealot.
And if you go up to basically man the gun, you see his body kind of lay on the ground. So you know for sure out of all the different nobles that
Yeah.
he's definitely dead.
And then Noble 6, he said, leave the Lone Wolf stuff behind, but the last mission's called Lone
Lone
Wolf,
Wolf.
and you die alone.
So it's almost foreshadowing all the demise of...
Except for Noble 6 is living in a cave somewhere.
That's what they speculate he's still alive somewhere. They just lost his helmet.
Thanks, Internet.
Yeah, I'd love for that. But the other Noble that's still alive is, hypothetically, June.
No, he's there. He's a Spartan 4 recruiter. Yeah. He's the one that recruits Buck to be a Spartan.
Because wasn't there one that went with Halsey at the end?
Yeah, it was June. He was the sniper of the group. So, but yeah, it was Carter was the captain.
Cat was his second.
Yeah,
George was the muscle.
yeah. George was Spartan 2, right? Not Spartan 3.
Spartan 2.
Because all the rest of them were Spartan 3s, I thought, right? That's why they were so much smaller than George. George was
big.
Yeah, George was big.
Yeah, all the Spartan 2s were just massive.
Yeah.
Because they just pumped them full of all kinds of roids and, biological enhancement stuff.
Yeah, and the Spartan 3's got a slightly truncated regime of augmentations.
Is that the one they, sent a whole bunch of them at this, Covenant cruiser and they all got basically, almost wiped out?
Yeah,
or is that Spartan 4s?
That's Spartan 3s. I think Carter, June, and maybe Emil are all Alpha Company. So most of them died on a Covenant shipbuilding planet. And they shut down the capability to make starships, but they also got destroyed.
Right.
So there was a couple hundred of them dead there, but like Carter and them, Oni would pull out special ones that have survived multiple missions, pull them out and fake their deaths, and then there you go, Noble Team. They did the same thing with Beta Company, where you get Noble 6 and whoever else on Noble Team is a Beta Company.
Yep.
No Gammas there, though.
But the main point of Halo Reach was basically getting Cortana and giving Cortana to Captain Keyes at the very end of the game, so they could escape on the Pillar of Autumn.
Yeah, and that was another thing between the books and the games, is that Cortana was on the surface, but she was in the books
locked way down deep in a vault with Halsey.
Yeah, she was on the surface of the planet in the game, but in the book she's in the Pillar of Autumn with Keyes.
Yep.
So she was in two. So that must have just been a splinter that they deliver, and then she can reconnect. And I don't know. There's a lot of differences between the books and the games there.
Yep.
Or book and game. It was good though. I really enjoyed Reach.
Oh, I did too.
The gritty feel, and
like Ashley said too, it was really you could basically run around a lot faster and everything, and you had more access to do more things.
Yeah. And you get killed by the Guta. One time in that game.
I did the targeting system where you could target a wraith and it would just drop a bomb from a satellite.
Yeah, that was cool.
So that was a cool feature.
What else new did they bring to that game besides armor abilities?
Well, they actually brought in a lot of wildlife too, because there was the different ostrich-looking things that you could
the stuff that would run around.
The Moas.
Yeah, which originally was supposed to be part of they wanted to really incorporate that in the original Halo Combat Evolved, but the technology wasn't there to have that. Let alone even a flamethrower. They couldn't even have the pixels for.
There's a group called the Dig Site Team that has all that old stuff from the original Halo.
Really?
The pre-Combat Evolved build, and they have all of it that you can download the mod part and play it.
That'd be kind of cool, just to see with all the wildlife there.
Yeah, you can ride the Thorn Beast and ride the Blind Wolf.
You can definitely tell they probably took inspiration behind Star Wars and a lot of those other sci-fi things.
Yeah.
So
the Flood being from... What was the Flood? Kind of like Alien?
It kind of reminds me of the Face Grabbers from Alien.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, just the elites themselves kind of remind me of Alien a lot, too.
And Predator with the mouth.
Yeah, and Predator with the mouth, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Chewbacca for Original Brute.
Oh, yeah.
Or, what was the guy's name that designed those?
Anthony?
Was it Anthony?
I thought.
Which designed what?
Was it the Halo 2 Brutes or Halo 3 Brutes?
The Halo 2 Brutes said, we try to put a little bit of ourselves into the character.
Nathan Walpole.
Nathan, that's his name, yeah.
He was a big husky dude.
Oh.
He had this beard. He's like, you want to put a little of yourself in there. Well, you did it.
Yeah.
His flesh is seared just the way I'd like it to.
God, that game had such good voice
Mm-hmm.
acting.
Halo 2 had legendary voice acting.
Yeah, that was peak Halo for me.
Yep.
I didn't care for 3 that much.
I still wish they would have kept the same voice for the Prophet of Truth in the third game.
Yeah, he didn't want to come back.
Yeah, it must have been contract dispute or something.
There was a rumor that he died.
Yeah.
So I even fell into that trap, but apparently he's alive and well and just didn't want to do it.
Yep.
Well, I was expecting to not like 3 because you told me that
I didn't like it because
like it.
What happened with Halo 3 with me and Kevin was, we'll get into that with the Halo midnight release and everything, but I was spoiled by the ending 2 weeks before the release because There was a Mountain Dew contest where people got early access to the game if they won this competition. A few of the people ended up winning, or who won the game early, actually uploaded the ending onto YouTube before the game even released, and we were spoiled the ending for ourselves.
I don't remember that. I just remember not liking it because I didn't think the story was that great, and I didn't like the art style.
I remember it was very slow playing through, and not to mention the whole thing where like Cortana would pop up and slow down your game, and then that one where she and the grave miner constantly back and forth, slowing down.
I kind of thought that was interesting.
I thought it was...
It was neat, but it drug a little bit.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I liked 3 more than 4. Surprisingly.
I'm not surprised by that, because Halo 4, like, it felt new and flashy,
different.
but...
It was very different.
It didn't feel like a Halo game
No,
to me when
it was
I played it, because
way
after
too
playing through all the
calculated.
first ones and then playing 4, it didn't feel...
It became
like
a Hunt the
Halo.
Watchers game,
I can agree with you on that one.
because you got to kill the Watchers, so that way it doesn't create a shield or resurrect a whole bunch of other things you already
Or
killed.
get your grenade.
Yeah, toss your grenade back at you. That was annoying.
So I felt, speaking of I felt bad when we were playing because I kept accidentally throwing grenades at him. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she'd throw a sticky, and I'd be right in front of her, and it's like, well, here we go.
I apologize.
Well, at least you could stick something. Be it friend or foe. I couldn't get into the art style for Halo 3. I just liked Halo 2 too much.
That's, I mean, we kind of grew up with Halo 2. Halo 1 and Halo 2 were kind of like our entry into the...
I think the best Elite
Game
design
series.
is still Halo Combat Evolved. Not that I don't like the other ones, I just feel like they looked...
I say we jump into Combat Evolved now, because that, like I said, that's really where all this stuff started. Because
We're kind of going all over the place.
Yeah, we're all-
yeah, that's what I mean. We're all over
That's
the place.
okay.
Yeah,
It happens.
It's Halo meanders. Honestly, very similar to what 343 is doing with Halo. They have no idea where they're going either.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they
Are
did.
they going to make another Halo game?
oh, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
they're working on one currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
Who knows where it's going to go?
A
But
spin-off title, I think.
Yep.
They don't know what you don't know what it is, but
Halo Combat Evolved, I got into back in about early 2004. So they were basically wrapping up the end of Halo 2 at that point.
yeah,
And would get ready to drop around close to my birthday in September, I think, of that year.
something like
So
that.
it was
I
either
can't
September or
remember what it
October,
was.
I think.
I believe so.
But we really fell hard into, original Halo Combat Evolved.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting a copy of our own Xbox, and yeah, I remember we just played System Link and everything, and it was just crazy times.
I remember the flood reveal in that game was so good.
Oh, the lead up to it was just like, what in the world is this? Because it was very dark and mysterious. You're fighting aliens for the first good half of the game, and then we're like,
We got to go find keys.
our AI companion Cortana is just freaking out, like, oh, those fools, there must have been signs. Here, go save them. There's no time to talk. Go save them.
Yeah, and then you go to some dank, dismal, rainy swamp where there's weird ally contacts everywhere.
Right.
There's wreckage, blood, no bodies.
And that's really I think the extra mystique of Halo was the mystery of it all, because you didn't know what the heck was coming.
Yeah. That was good.
It added such an ancient element to it, because like from the theme song, you hear the Gregorian chants of, oh.
Good job, Marty. Good job.
Yeah, just the whole feel of Combat Evolved really was immersive.
What did you think of that originally when you played through the first Halo?
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah, that was
Well, here's the thing. I know, even though I've never really played,
Right.
I knew the story from watching you play and you guys play, but the flood still freaked me out.
yeah.
It still freaked me out, even though I was expecting it. It still freaked me out.
It's so good.
Yep.
And then the fucking library.
Yeah, that level was probably the most challenging.
Oh yeah.
Imagine that on Legendary, because we played on normal together.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah, Legendary,
way.
when you're crammed in that tight quarters with very limited ammo,
And
you're throwing
rocket flood.
everything you have at it.
The fucking flood that come out with the rocket launchers. And
Yeah.
just kamikaze you in the face.
You turn a corner and just take a rocket to the dome, and it's like, dang it.
I died so many times during that.
so good, though.
So
Yeah.
many times.
Halo can have its infuriating moments like that, where it's just like, son of a gun. You've been slogging away for 15 minutes, turn a corner, bam,
Or the
going
one-
back to a
The
checkpoint.
ones with the shotguns that just round a corner and blow your
And they
brains
shoot
out.
you from like a quarter of a mile away. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So that was obnoxious. But once again, it was all in good fun.
Yeah, but it was so good. As infuriating as that level is, it's so good.
But they did pick two amazing voice actors for both Cortana and for Master Chief in that game. That really just solidified the franchise.
And Tim Dodabo did very well as well as Guilty Spark.
Oh, yeah.
And various other
And
voice.
Sergeant Johnson.
Yeah. David Scully.
I like his character.
Yeah.
I wish they Marty. My gripe will eternally be for for you killing Johnson. That was his idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they needed some gravity to it.
I was so mad.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that. When I played it, I didn't know.
They already killed Captain Keyes and Miranda Keyes. Like, why do they need to kill Johnson?
And I didn't know she was going to die either.
Yeah, no one expected that. It's like
the way again, I didn't like the art style, so I hated the way that Johnson looked. I thought he looked terrible. Truth looked, in my opinion, abysmal. And just like the sound, Bungie's never really done super great with sound effects all the time. So it's like when she's there about to kill Johnson and you just hear like, and she's like, ugh! Like what just happened? It was like terrible sound effects and she's dead. Like you could have done better with your audio stuff, but I think they were on a lot of crunch because Microsoft.
Exactly. They were just like, push this game out, get it out, get it out, get it out.
They didn't even want to make that game.
Well, I thought there'd be like some big showdown between your character and Truth, maybe with both the Arbiter and Master Chief.
Yeah.
But no, it takes it in a cutscene. It's like, fool, you must be silenced. Ah! And it's over. I mean, like, are you kidding me?
That was definitely Arby's place for sure. I don't think Truth had much. It would have also felt better had they had Michael Wincott voicing him.
Mm-hmm. I still wish there would have been some big confrontation. Would have been kind of cool. Like, or that leading into a cutscene would have been spectacular, I feel like. Would have added way more gravity to the moment.
But as one of the Bungie guys said, when you had to fight regret, it's beating up an old man in his wheelchair.
Right.
Oh my God, it kind of is.
It is.
I never thought of it that way.
I can't think if it was Max Hoberman or they use his face for some of the Halo 1 Marines. He's the guy with the goatee. I feel stupid not being able to think of this guy's name. But it was one of their ideas to. It's just beating up an old man in his wheelchair. Oh, good.
But yeah, he basically he floats around in his chair. He's got a hell of a lot of power behind that beam blast thing he's got.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of Professor X from X-Men. With the floating wheelchair. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
Very similar.
Yeah. We got into Halo 2. We were on Combat Evolved.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But the two tie into each other. They get more to the story about the Covenant in Halo 2 because it's it's nice because they split it because in Halo Combat Evolved, it's basically just Master Chief. Yeah. You're playing as Master Chief through the whole thing. Halo 2, you're playing as both Master Chief for half of it and then the Arbiter for half of it, which is kind of cool.
And that, I think, caught a lot of people off guard, so they were either really impressed that you got to do that, or they're
like, what's this?
Yeah.
I kind of didn't like playing as the Arbiter at first.
Really?
No, I didn't really like it at first.
It grew on me. So I like starting off with an energy sword. I'm like, oh, this is sweet.
But I did like the sword, though. The sword was
And then you found out that he got a temporary active camo automatically instead of a flashlight. I'm like, oh, this is infinitely better.
Yeah. Yeah, the Covenant side of that game, I think, is what actually really drew me into the universe as deep as it did.
Yes, it definitely added to the immersive feel of the whole thing.
And then they ditched it again with Halo 3, and I think that was another issue I had, that and not playing as the Arbiter.
Well, they really tried to force through, like, there was, like, basically a civil war brewing inside the Covenant where, like, the elites, they failed the prophets, so they must be now basically cast out.
All through Truth's machinations. Dick.
So basically, he basically wanted the brutes to be more of his bodyguards and the elites.
Because they were, I think he didn't want to deal with the elites figuring things out, and the brutes were just blindly loyal, and he wanted power for himself, so he killed everybody off.
Yep. And then he had no problem if, like, any of his other brother prophets were killed in the process, too. Like,
he let regret die.
Yeah.
And then...
Even Cortana hints to, like, it sounds like you're doing Truth a favor.
Yeah. And then he just kind of lets Mercy get flooded.
Yeah. Well, technically, doesn't regret also get flooded, too?
Yeah, I thought he did.
Because the Grave Mind basically has Penitent Tension, and they also have, the Prophet of Regret.
Yeah.
They're basically confessing, what they both believe is, like, their divine, purpose for being.
Yeah.
The Great Journey! And then also the other one's like, you know nothing about containment.
Yeah. This one's great journey, and this one's containment are the same. God, the Gravemind voice was so good.
It was. It was actually, like, two guys, I think, right? Because I think one guy was doing, like, the growls.
It sounds very, like, gravelly.
Yeah, there's I think, several layers to it, and I don't know if it's one or two guys, because I used to when they had the Halo 2 extended, or the extra DVD
Which we've seen, like, a million times.
Yeah. They play a couple voice clips together, and I thought for a long time that it was those guys, and it very well could be, but the one guy is Tartarus, growling, not the Gravemind.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one hung me up for a long time.
Tartarus.
I liked his character.
Well, I got confused, like, back to the Arbiter thing, when you switch to the Arbiter, like, not killing the grunts and stuff
Yeah.
because they're on your
Yeah,
side.
because
I'm like,
magically they're on your side now. It's
Oops.
like,
Yeah, the first time I played that, I'm like, okay, it's just showing me what this elite dude's doing, and then I drop in there, I'm like, oh, good Covenant, I'll kill him.
yeah, and I'm like, oh wait, we're not supposed to kill them now.
Oops,
Whoops.
what's going on?
yeah. And that was your favorite part, I think, of the original Halo games when we first, and it was the grunt dialogue was just hysterical.
Oh, they cracked me up.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were so funny.
They say the most random things.
Yeah.
So, and you get more backstory with the books and everything too, because it talks about like their planet. That's why they all have to wear gas masks too, because they can't breathe like on most planets because their planet's like what, mostly methane or something.
Yeah, methane.
So take one match over there and
That's why, like in Reach, when you would pop their tanks off, they would spin around
oh yeah,
and explode. So that was a nice detail for Reach.
yep, yeah, they did a good job with that. So, and they didn't change up the voices until what, Halo 4? They started sounding more goofy.
Or I thought it was Halo 3 when they changed the voice.
Oh, yeah, they changed them between the first three a little bit, but then they all kind of
Or no,
sounded the
full-
same because it was Joe Staten that did the voices.
Yep.
And then Halo 4, they really sounded weird and nasally and buggy.
And then what the elites in Halo Combat Evolved were basically just words backwards, weren't they?
Yeah, backwards and slowed.
Like wort was actually go go go.
Yeah, it was also David Scully Johnson.
The
Yeah. And I like that they did that for Reach, though, has made the elites not translated again.
right.
Well, that was, I don't know why you can understand the grunts and not the elites, but whatever.
Right. Yeah, that kind of didn't really make sense. So, because they all spoke like different language and everything. And then how do they understand the jackals? All they do is just like hiss and crackle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure how you decipher that garbage.
Yeah. It's amazing that the Covenant even stayed together because you'd think there'd be so many differences there because, like, I think, didn't they actually, like, try to take over the entire Grunts planet with a bunch of hunters or something?
No, they found the grunts and they found some Forerunner stuff there, I think, and they're like, well, you guys will make good slave labor. And then they just kind of pressed them into service. And then the grunts rebelled years later and they glassed part of the planet.
The Grunt Rebellion.
Yeah, they glassed part of the planet, and the Arbiter at that time figured out that they can actually fight, and that's how they got brought into the Covenant military instead of just being slaves.
And that's why they're used as basically cannon fodder, or otherwise known
Grunts,
as a grunt.
basically.
Yep. So, fittingly named.
Yeah.
But they do have, some of the funniest dialogue, all running around. Ah!
The first one with the food nipple in Combat Evolved.
Yep.
You find him in the tunnel.
The what now?
Yeah, if you're driving the Warthog run in the end of Combat Evolved, there's a tunnel you can take before the end of the run, and there's just a grunt standing there, and he gives you the, good thing that food nipple's waiting for me at the starship.
Yeah.
And it sounds just like Joe Staten.
I don't think we saw that one when we played.
Yeah. Like, there's all kinds of reference to that, especially they go into more detail in the book, but that's apparently how they feed or something.
They use the food nipple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just sounds gross.
Yeah.
That does sound kind of gross.
Food nipple.
That's darn alien food nipples. First you got blue milk in Star Wars being milked out of that one thing's nipple, and then you get this.
There is a voice line in Infinite. It's one of the mules that'll yell at you, and he, like, as they're trying to kill you, he'll yell, "No nipple for you, dum-dum!" Like, the grunts in Infinite talk so much shit, and it's fantastic.
That's one thing I think they brought back, because I feel like in Halo 4 and 5, they kind of tamed down the grunt talk a little bit. So, because I think they made it more for, like, what's it, rated T for teen audiences rather than mature.
Yeah, I don't even remember if the grunts speak in 4. I think they just kind of make noises.
I see that. I think they just make the noises,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
that's when they totally
They don't
changed the
engage in
voices.
dialogue or anything like that.
Yeah, not till 5.
Good thing Arbiter's here.
Yeah. Oh, there's. I'll have to find it for you later. I found a thing on Twitter and I shared it. It is a grunt getting destroyed by the clamp thing in Halo 2. I think that has a nipple quote in it also.
Those
What
grunts.
happened to Halo 1? What happened to Combat Evolved? We tangented into Halo 2 again.
We did.
Always do that.
We could just talk about them both together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were both intertwined on the same console, so it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense for them to go hand in hand. But the whole thing with Halo parties or Halo LAN parties started with Halo 1 because that was really the only way to play, more than 4 players with each other. And that was revolutionary for the time.
Yeah.
Because before, you would have games like, what was it? Well, we used to play Duke Nukem.
Oh, yeah.
For the N64, you could play 4 people on one console, and you go head to head and like try and shoot each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
The
this,
console that had the horrendous control.
oh yeah,
Okay.
so that had all kinds of wonky stuff going on. But Halo Combat Evolved was one where like you could actually take an Ethernet cable, hook up to a router box, and basically everybody could play 4 people per Xbox on that TV with each other. So you could have 4 teams of 4 for 16 players altogether, and that was just revolutionary for the time. We're like, holy crap!
And it was much easier to move around than like a desktop computer.
Yeah. So until they ended up inventing the flat screen years later, but those old monitors were basically the size of like a SD TV box.
Yeah.
So, but the other big thing too was screen cheating was a big deal. So if you played split screen with somebody, they could just simply look up, see where your character's at, go and find you and mull you down.
And even if you're not trying, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It just happens. Yeah. Just, completely unintentionally or intentionally.
And if you're sharing like audio things, like somebody in Halo picks up a camo and it makes the noise,
it's like, okay, you know where they're at. So that's why it became a thing where people would actually put like cardboard boxes with duct tape on the one they play on the top of a bunk bed, the guy would play on the floor. So it just made more sense to go out and buy another Xbox, buy another copy of the game, get a couple Ethernet cables in a box, and play in different rooms. And then you could sit there and when, you could still hear them a little bit, but it wasn't as obvious.
Right.
So that's why, it was actually a lot more fun, too, because you couldn't see where anybody was coming from.
Yeah.
And as soon as you killed him, you could hear him just scream from the other room, fuck you! So,
Sniper!
now imagine that times, basically an extra, times 8. So you basically have 16 people all playing a free-for-all game on, like, a really big level. It got to be like a cluster.
God, free-for-all. It was insane.
We usually played teams just because we felt like it made it a little bit more fair. So 2 teams of 8.
Yeah, and then you could just randomly switch your team. Mm-hmm. So we tried to keep everybody in line, and then
there was a way to turn that off, which I'm glad they did, but that got annoying. My brother Ryan would get away with that stuff a lot of times too.
Yeah.
So you'd switch over in the middle of battle because you'd be playing red team versus blue team, and all of a sudden, oh, someone's now brown team.
Yeah,
now someone's green team.
There's a green team now. Great.
Son of a gun. So, but it wasn't until we ended up getting into Combat Evolved, like I said, in 2004, and then I remember I was getting Halo 2 for Christmas, and Mom and Dad let us have kind of early access to it to try it out, I think in early November. And Ryan and I popped it in, and we're just like, oh my God, this is so much better. You can hold 2 guns at once, dual wielding. What is this?
And at the time, you don't really think about how shitty the gun is on its own.
Right. And then what's that? We ended up picking up, because you couldn't pick up the energy sword in the first game.
Yeah.
Because the thing wasn't, or the graphics weren't there for it yet.
Yeah.
And now it was just like, oh my God, we can have an energy sword. We can have this and that.
I really liked the sword.
Still think it looked cooler in the first one.
It did look more interesting.
It was like that teal.
It's got different colors. Like it's got a little bit of purple and blue in the second one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of like the second one a little better. I think it's more detailed.
Yeah, it's neat.
It's more it's more condensed and longer in the first one.
Yeah. And the zealots were impossible to run away from because they can jump 50 feet across that the one
They
bridge.
come barreling at you, and you're like, oh, fate accepted.
Were those the ones that were invisible?
Now they're the gold guys.
Oh, that's right.
The gold guys on the bridge. You get done basically slogging through all the bridges, no save point, and all of a sudden through the door comes this gold elite with an energy sword
He
barreling
jumps,
at you.
Jumps over that barricade. And
Well,
whack.
Yep, we're done.
Here we go.
But I remember, getting first access to Halo 2 and, just being blown away by how much, the graphics you could definitely tell were better.
Yeah.
And then, way more weapons. And dual wielding completely changed the game because it really was more about firepower.
Yeah.
How much extra bullets and ammo can you just get and lay into people?
Yeah.
Because it was completely unbalanced at that point.
Yeah. And a lot of people hated dual wielding.
Oh, I loved it.
Because, again, the weapon on its own was just about useless. So you had to
pick it up with like a plasma rifle, though. That combo would just mow down people.
Yeah, when they added the brute plasma rifle into some of the maps.
Oh, yeah. Made it because that thing pulses faster than a typical.
I liked that one.
The red one.
That came in on turf, I think. That was the first one to have.
I think so. That was a good map.
Rifle. That was a good map.
Yeah, the multiplayer for Halo 2. That was the nice thing about Halo 2 was a balance. The campaign was phenomenal. The multiplayer was outstanding.
Yeah.
And then you add in the fact that they were trying to, at that point, get Xbox Live up and going because they've been experimenting with online games for a while.
Yeah.
And Halo 2, combining their killer app game with online Xbox Live capabilities was truly industry transforming.
Yeah.
Because it really changed online gaming to be what it is today. On Halo 2 Xbox Live, oh my gosh, the ranking system on the thing was just preposterous. If you lost a game, you dropped in rank. It was brutal.
Yeah, you could win 5 and not go up and lose 1 and go down 2.
Yeah, it was
real cute.
Yeah, very brutal.
Yeah, I was not good. Not that good, at least.
So, and then there was the pregame lobbies were just absolutely just trash talking fests. It was,
Yeah.
very vulgar, very.
I've heard some things, man. Been through some shit. That and Modern Warfare 2. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I don't want to play on live and or online and like talk as a woman because you get so much shit when when you're a woman and you play.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're better than people. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, the internet's such a lovely place.
Mm-hmm.
Very inclusive.
It's funny how like things like never change because like even today you get a whole bunch of pregame lobbies and everybody's still like talking shit and all kinds of crap. So, but back then it was basically the beginning of all that stuff, and you definitely notice a difference in difficulty too because like you said, people like they play for hours and are phenomenal at Halo.
Yeah,
you get in there and you beat legendary in campaign. You're thinking, yeah, I'm pretty good at Halo. You get in there and you get your clock cleaned and you get like maybe 2 kills out of like a 50 kill match, and it's like, yeah. It's a whole different beast online.
Yeah, and that one, people would start to mod, but kept it kind of not the super overt things, but like just aim assist or aimbot. Mm-hmm. A lot of that made it.
And then there was also the thing of hosting.
Yeah.
So if you were like the host console that had the strongest server, you would almost get like an extra bonus of like, what's a durability to your character.
Yeah, like your latency was lower or something, and it kind of screwed everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody else who had a weaker server was basically more cannon fodder. That, and there was the thing, too, where a person could, unplug their connection, plug it back in, freeze the game, go around and kill everybody first.
Oh, yeah, what was that called?
There was a term for it, but that was a big factor, too.
Yeah, you could unplug your router and screw everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everybody was just locked in place. You could quickly run around because everybody was frozen in place, kill them, and they come back and they were already a deficit loss. Yeah,
so I cannot for the life of me come up with what that was called.
It wasn't a mod. It was just some weird glitch they had in the Xbox Live system.
Yeah, and there was...
And then there was also BXR, where if you tap the...
There was a lot of button combos.
Oh, yeah. Well, that and super jumps, too. Yeah. That was a big thing in Halo 2 they brought in.
Yeah.
So basically you do like certain things, jump on certain areas, and you go like bounding 100 feet into the sky. It was crazy.
Yeah, some of that stuff was... The fact that some people could either figure it out or even do some of them was impressive.
I remember the rocket lunge was awesome. You could basically zoom in with the rocket launcher, switch over to the sword real quick. For a quick second, it would turn red. If you clicked it at the right time, you would go flying across the map with your sword and kill the person.
Yeah, guys could do it with the sniper rifle.
Yeah, you could
I could never figure that one out.
The rocket snipe. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Or the sniper lunge. Yeah, basically you zoom in, because the sniper rifle zooms in way farther than a rocket launcher does. And you do a quick switch to your sword. If it glows red, you go flying. It was a crazy little glitch.
That game had so many glitches. Mm-hmm. There was always ways to get out of every map.
Yep.
And be untouchable.
Yeah, Halo 2, you could definitely tell, from that perspective, there was a lot of rushing just to get a game out there as fast as possible, because they cut a lot of stuff from their story, too, because they wanted to get a lot more in-depth with things, but it was rush. But honestly, it led to probably what I consider the quintessential Halo game.
Yeah, there's actually been a lot of... storyboards put out in the last year from the original Halo 2.
Really?
How they were supposed to end it. Since there was not going to be a Halo 3. And the original Halo 3 ending. They've let all that out.
Yep. There is a big disconnect between Halo 2 and Halo 3, because Halo 2 ended with Master Chief on, that Forerunner ship.
Yeah.
And then Halo 3, he basically starts off by careening down as a meteorite, into the ground. And
falling out of it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, there's a several part comic series that bridges that.
Mm-hmm.
And in there is a scene, and it's got a backdrop, and it's Colossus map from Halo 2.
Oh.
Is that? I'm like, that's not in, I guarantee you that's not in that ship. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they hit the Prophet of Truth in there with his brutes and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like this, I'm willing to bet this map is not inside this ship.
Nope.
It always caught me and made me think of just a silly setting.
Right.
And then, he blows off a door and
he goes flying out.
Falls to Africa.
Whee! And Johnson finds him. Call it.
Call in veto. We're not leaving him here.
No, not yet.
Johnson.
Crazy fool. One of these days you're going to land on something hotter than your head.
And I don't do bits and pieces. Johnson in Halo 2 was so much cooler.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Was it at the end of Halo 1... where he was hugging the Elite?
He's like, this is it, baby.
This is it, baby.
Hold me.
And then the Elite grabs his ass.
Yeah, he's just like, it was the most random. That was a legendary ending. Of all things, you go through all the slogging, through all this stuff with legendary, and that's the reward you get. Yeah. This is it, baby. Hold me. And he survives that.
Yeah,
that was my question. How did he survive that?
Yep. Yeah, that's not canon.
I was going to say,
That's why everybody thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
And then he was actually a Spartan 1, correct?
Yeah,
Part of Project, what was it?
Orion.
Orion. Mm-hmm. So technically, yeah, he's actually enhanced as well.
Yeah, he's got a fun backstory. Silent Storm is the name of that Master Chief book, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. Johnson in there.
Sergeant Johnson. Yeah, why in the world they killed him off the end of Halo 3, I don't know. Because he was such a
Yeah, like I said,
part of
because
Halo.
I knew most of the story, but yeah, I did not know that was going to happen. And when he died, I'm like, what the fuck?
And then,
Unacceptable! Unacceptable!
and then there's the scene of Chief running out of the control room, and it just looks horrible.
Right? He's running,
His run
and the
looks-
thing's just like falling down.
Cook the bastard.
Yeah, that a lot of people were mad at 343 for what they did after that game with Guilty Spark.
Well, 343 didn't take over until, what, Halo 4? Right? So that was still Bungie, I think, at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, not killing him there, but bringing him back. Because when the Forerunner trilogy came out, and the second one, the book Primordium, was, you don't find out until the end of the book, but it's him. They had found his pieces and parts on the Ark, and were interrogating him.
See, I thought, like, on the Ark, when they were recreating Halo, I thought they'd actually recreate the Oracles, too.
You would think.
Right? It would make sense, because, like, you know, that's the whole point of the Ark, is basically to, if any Halos get damaged, you make new Halos.
Yeah, you would think that they would have a new monitor, but
And how many Halos are actually out there? Apparently they indicated 7, but you said there's a rogue Halo out there, too, right?
no, that is 7.
That is 7? Okay.
Yeah, it was part of the original set of 12
Holy crap.
that were gigantic and didn't work the same way. And then most of those got destroyed. And then Zeta Halo, they had to reduce it. So now it's the same size as the other ones. That's
Interesting.
why it's so weird in Infinite. It's different.
That's the one unique thing about Halo 2. They never show the Halo rings actually firing and actually wiping out everything. Unless, like, if you actually watch that, Halo Legends DVD series, it shows, like, in a cartoon series, the Halo rings being fired, which is really cool. It just shows the array lighting up and then just setting up this giant Halo ring out into the universe and wiping all sentient life off of...
And there's a debate out there that does Halo destroy the Flood, or does it just starve them? Because Cortana in the first one says it doesn't kill Flood, it kills their food. But then in that thing, it's like cleaning the Flood off of everything.
Oh, yeah, it just rips them off.
So
Just from the sheer force of everything. Because it shows, like, a giant flood infestation that's covering, like, a Forerunner ship, and it just gets that, like, ring blast comes by and it flings
It's
it
supposed
off.
to kill all sentient life, right?
Correct.
But would that include the Flood, though?
yeah, there's a debate. I like to think that, yes, it cleans everything. Like, it just gets rid of it somehow
I would assume it
through
would.
space magic.
Yep.
Because it would be stupid for there to be Flood on everything, and then you reseed the galaxy, and the Flood's still just hanging around, and you're just feeding it again.
Magic.
But that's in Halo 4. Like, why? Because Halo 4, they saved pretty much every species, right?
Just about.
Yeah.
Why would they save the Flood, though?
Research. They want to find a cure.
But
That seems,
Which the humans, the ancient humans, even before, like, mankind, like, in that present-day game, they found, like, a way to defeat the Flood, right? I thought they did.
that's what you're led to believe in those books.
But that never made sense to me, because the Flood are like this scourge of the galaxy, and then, let's save them.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's save them.
Yeah, because they know.
It's the fallacy of believing that, like, we need to preserve everything. And in doing so, it basically,
they-
Start all over
solidified the end of everything.
At least in 343's time, they wanted to find a cure, and they know that it'll come back. Even after the Halos are fired, there's still a chance that it'll come back, so they want to find a cure.
Makes sense.
I always thought it was stupid for them to hang on to it.
Yeah, it's like,
Especially in,
okay.
like, the Bungie time. Like, why hang on to that? That seems silly, but...
Let's hang on to this deadly disease that we know if it gets out, it'll wreck everything.
Also, yeah, we'll keep it under the strongest quarantine that the Covenant get through in, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Real
Makes
cute.
no sense.
They just unlock. They just open the door handle and walk in.
That's why Cortana's freaking out in Halo 1, where she's like, those fools, there must have been signs. Like, stay the heck away from there.
Right? There's not even a warning sign that says "Do not open." Dead inside. Do not open.
But the whole lead up to that part is just very, like, what in the world
Creepy
is
and
this?
ominous, yeah.
Yeah. Very foreboding. And you're just like, what in the world are we getting ourselves into here?
Yeah, it's because there's
And then they come out, and basically the Flood, like a parasite comes and basically turns everybody into, like, a living zombie.
yeah.
Both aliens and humans. It's freaky.
Yeah, that was
And then in Halo 3, they take on really weird forms where it turns into, like, the morphing forms that become invulnerable for a time.
I hate those things.
Yeah, they're annoying.
I like them from a canon perspective, but I absolutely hated them in
Endgame
game.
was nuts.
Yeah.
Especially that scene between alternating the Grave Mine and Cortana talking to each other, slowing everything down.
Submit.
The dialogue there was still very good. I just wish that it would happen without slowing the game down.
Yeah, if they would have done it in a different way, I feel like it would have been more effective rather than just slowing everything down. So Master Chief always getting damage taken, like in the middle of like, oh, I'm talking.
Don't slow just let the gameplay proceed as normal, but do your talking thing. That's fine.
Right. But Halo 2, basically what, you ended up leaving Cortana on High Charity, which ends up getting taken over by all the Flood. And then Halo 3, you're basically supposed to go back and rescue her.
Yeah,
is the
that's
big
another thing that people didn't like about it. A lot of the 343 stuff does almost 100% retcon everything that Halo 3 did. Like, there's some stuff that even contradicts why the Covenant War started. Yeah. There's I can't think of the guy's name. I'm doing terrible with names today. A guy did like an hour or 2 hour long video about how everything is changed through 343 and how they retcon so much. It's very, very good, very informative. The guy did his research and put in a lot of time. I still like the 343 stuff, but it definitely made me see things differently.
Not just about Halo 3 and all the stuff from like what 343 was like retconning.
Wait, because Bungie made up till Halo 3?
No, they made up to Halo Reach. And then basically they called it quits there. But,
okay.
And also, actually, we kind of skipped ahead here. Skipped ahead here too. In between Halo 2 and Halo 3 was another game that they called Halo 3 ODST.
Which came out actually after Halo 3.
Which came out after Halo 3, but they called it, but really it takes place right during the events of Halo 2.
Yeah.
So then why is it 3?
I don't know. Well,
I
just
assume because it's on the engine.
Yeah, Kevin says it's on the engine, so it just kind of makes sense to call it.
I enjoyed ODST, though, surprisingly. I enjoyed it.
That's a fan favorite.
It was interesting, but it's interesting, too, for the fact that like they had engineers for the first time.
Okay, that was my favorite part of that whole game was Virgil.
Yeah,
I love Virgil.
Yep.
You didn't kill any, did you? No.
No. Well, maybe a few.
Okay, I was after that. I was looking for like Virgil merch. I can't find any.
Yeah, they don't sell engineer stuff. I mean, you might be able to find like a plushie or something like that somewhere.
The only stuff they make now is Spartan stuff.
No, I need a Virgil statue or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then, I felt bad. You kill the engineers, and it's like, oh,
well,
now I feel like crap.
They talk about engineers in the books and everything too. That's why I'm surprised through all the different Halo games you don't see them at all.
Yeah.
Like I think was it in Reach at all?
Yeah.
Any engineers? I thought we did see some in Reach.
Yeah, they're in like the night club. Whenever you have to go through with the Falcon, they're in all the places with the jammers. You have to kill those.
Well, I like the one where you have to find those audio clips.
Oh, the audio clip thing from ODST?
It tells the backstory.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, I forget how many audio logs there were for that thing.
Was it like 50?
Yeah, there's like 30 or 40 at least. Yeah.
We didn't find all of them, but I'd like to, because that was interesting, the story.
I'm an 800-pound man with a cleaver. Do you really want us to be enemies?
Oh, the kebabs.
Kebab. Yeah, that alone was a very immersive, like, almost like audiobook story.
Yeah, a little audio drama.
Within, a game within a game.
Yeah,
so
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a nice little add-on there. But I remember, when that game first came out, very few people went to that midnight release.
Yeah. I did like the not being a Spartan thing for a change was nice.
It was different, but that, like, okay, if you
got
hit a little
having
bit.
shields.
Yeah, I was going to say your health thing would be beeping like crazy throughout the whole game, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, let me turn this off.
Yeah, that was about the only obnoxious thing to me. That and the overemphasis on hand movements throughout the cutscenes. Like, hello, beautiful. Arms flailing everywhere.
Yeah, there's so much motion. I can only assume that they were testing their motion rigs and stuff for Destiny. And
then Nathan Fillion really made kind of like a bit of a Halo career for himself from that game forward, right? Yeah. Because he ends up coming back. His character's Buck. He ends up coming back. Is he in Reach as well?
Yeah, for a minute.
Okay, and then he ends up becoming, in Halo 4, he actually becomes a Spartan, right?
Yeah,
is it in 4 or is it in 5? No, 5 he's definitely in. Yeah.
It's in, like, I don't know.
He's part of the team in Halo 5.
Yeah.
So, which I always thought was weird. I was like, wait a minute. Wasn't he an ODST?
Which actually his character was supposed to be Gabriel Thorne from Halo 4 Spartan Ops.
Oh, interesting.
But then they're like, nope, we're going to use Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
Which is fine because Buck is fun.
Yeah. I like Buck's character.
He got 2 books, so good for him.
Did he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. New Blood and Bad Blood. They're pretty good.
Yep.
Matthew Forbeck did a decent job.
I haven't read nearly as many of the books. And then you always told me about like the TV shows for Halo are kind of like, meh.
New season was pretty good.
Yeah.
First season was rough.
Was it?
To say the least. If you feel like hating yourself and wasting a few hours of your time, go ahead. there's still things in season 2 that make me go, why are they doing this? But it was considerably better. It took some turns that I didn't expect them to take, and I'm actually intrigued to see where they go.
Interesting. I'll have to give it a watch. What program or what platform is it on?
Paramount Plus.
Is it? Okay, we've got that. Because
I hate that app thing, the platform. I hate it. Because you have to pay for it anyway, and there's still friggin' ads every 5 minutes.
that seems to be the way a lot of these things are going too. So I'm excited for the new Knuckles series coming out here. Looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
That'll be fun.
But yeah, I've yet to check out Halo. Should be interesting.
There's better Halo media to consume.
Oh yeah. Well, I liked Halo Legends, that Blu-ray, of like the different like art styles that they had and told different
you're into
stories.
that, go on YouTube and find there's 2 or 3 of them. They're parts of the Evolutions book, but they made like a little movie for them. There's Mona Lisa. There's, can't remember. It's got a couple Spartan 3s, Headhunters, and then there's one more, I think, and they're actually all really cool. The Mona Lisa one's very good.
I'll have to check it out.
If you dedicate your time to those, they're kind of on the level of Legends. They're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because I thoroughly enjoyed Legends.
Because I remember watching those years ago.
Yeah, because that came out
like
when? That
those.
was after Halo 3, I think they ended up coming out with Legends.
Like the first thing that 343 put out. Besides maybe Halo Wars, I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I thought Halo Wars was Ensemble Studios before they rode off in the sunset, because I think they filed for bankruptcy or something, or just folded as a company.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
Yeah, they basically left. I loved RTS games, so Halo Wars I really enjoyed, and that's like a prequel and a prequel. That even predates Reach.
I like that game, except the part where you had to get people onto the escape craft.
Yeah,
I hated that.
Get to Arcadia.
I hated that.
The cutscenes in that game were cool.
Oh yeah, they did phenomenal.
I can't do RTS games. I'm
not
too
good
bored.
at them. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just not good at
Yeah,
them.
I loved them. I thought they were great. So, although like I said, I never played Halo Wars 2. I never really had the time.
Go finish it.
Yeah, I need to. Well, you were the one who told me halfway through. You're like, "There's only 5 cutscenes. Don't do it."
Yeah. Sadly, there is only like 5 or 7 cutscenes, which are very good, but they are not spaced well because the majority of them are in the first third of the game, and the story is just weird. The art style is weird.
Really?
It's fun. It's good. I just replayed it recently, and I didn't hate it, if that means anything.
Yeah, I love. Like I said, I'm big into RTS, so that's really more my cup of tea. So
Honestly, for me, the 2 expansions that they had come out were way better than the actual game.
really, that sounds like Destiny in a lot of ways too. Because the original Destiny like main story kind of like it was okay. It was very kind of like half baked, but like the DLCs really added to it and more cutscenes.
Yeah,
Like with Cade 6.
The Sunspear expansion was cool because you play as a group of ODSTs, so you get to move them around and do stuff. And then Awakening the Nightmare, which I think a lot of people liked but also hated because of what it did to the story, was also really cool because you bring the flood back.
Oh God,
Yeah, it's cool.
the stinking flood. Once again, why in the world would you keep them stored away?
Oh,
Makes
it's
no
not
sense.
because of that. It's something else
Is it?
that sort of poops on Halo 3 a little bit.
So
But I was okay
breaking the story again and again.
Yeah, I was okay with it though, because Blur did the cutscenes, and Blur does a fantastic job with cutscenes. Because they did like no, they didn't do the Halo 2 anniversary ones. That was
No, Halo 2 anniversary cutscenes were phenomenal.
Oh, that whole game looked phenomenal.
Yeah, that was a great anniversary collection.
Just give me a movie that looks like that.
right?
Give me like a 3-hour.
That was Saber Studios, wasn't
That's
it?
right, yeah.
I think based out of Russia.
Yeah, they were the Russian.
I was just like, holy crap! Just
Yeah.
a short decade, and they get that type of results. I'm like, where in the world has this been?
Right. Good use of budget.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with that one. Not impressed with like the midnight release because like we waited forever.
Yeah.
And I had to wait forever for a download, and then
People still want Combat Evolved to get that treatment,
I kind of wish they would
get
too.
the anniversary that it truly deserves.
I kind of wish all the Halos would be remastered, kind of like what Halo 2 Anniversary was. It would definitely add to the series, but
Even if they did Combat Evolved in 3 in that same
type of graphics,
engine or whatever,
yeah, it would do justice for the whole Halo arc.
it would, because the anniversary for Combat Evolved looked like garbage. To me, I didn't like it.
It was a little better, but like the difference between that anniversary and 3 years later with Halo 2 Anniversary was night and day. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't like the way the armor looked in the Combat Evolved anniversary. A lot of the plasma grenades and stuff were just really, really big and flat. I don't know, just everything was way overdone and saturated.
Yep.
I liked kind of what they were trying to do with the Reach models in there, how they used the armor models and stuff for that.
Yep.
But there's some things that worked and other things that didn't.
One thing we need to talk about now that we're talking about Halo 3 and stuff like that too, the midnight release for Halo 3.
Yes, I'm glad
phenomenal.
you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that moron's fumble.
Yeah. So basically, we get there. We ended up pre-ordering the Ultimate Edition, which came with a really cool Master Chief helmet, which I've still got up in my office.
That's where that came from, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
To this day, and it is still one of the coolest little add-ons you got with like reserving a game. And I remember like waiting, like very anticipatingly, just like to finally get this thing. And we get there, and all of a sudden I finally open the door. The first guy goes in, gets his helmet, unboxes it. He runs out, and he's just like, I got Halo 3! He proceeds to trip over the little cement median they use for parking spaces,
no.
Yeah.
and it goes and busts right on the parking lot.
It was fantastic.
And we were everybody in line is just like, half of the people were just like, just like standing there, and the other half is just bursting out laughing. Me and Kevin are just losing it.
Wait,
We're
so
like,
it was the first guy who got it?
Yeah.
Yep. He comes out with the Master Chief helmet just kind of like raised above his head. It's his proud achievement. He's got the first copy of Halo in town, and bam! It smashes the helmet right over, tripping over a parking spot.
I almost wonder if he did it on purpose.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He's a troll before trolls.
And then there was another guy that basically tried to peel out from GameStop on the way out of there, and I think he ended up backfiring or something. And this guy in line was just like, oh, he's got no engine in that thing. That's a V6.
Didn't he stall his car out?
Yeah, there's something on that line. We were all laughing. It was a hoot.
Yeah, what a time.
Yeah, that was a great experience. That's why I was so looking forward to other midnight releases to be on that type of level. It just never was.
Yeah, that set the bar pretty high.
Yeah, Halo 3 we were all excited for. But, oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember finally getting my first copy of it. And, yeah, you just hand them a little ticket, and they give you your big old, like, it was a giant cube of a box. I'm like, holy crap. Took it home, plopped out the Master Chief. I'm like, yeah, this thing's sweet.
Yeah.
Popped in that game, and yeah, Halo 3 was, for me, very underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I said, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would because I was expecting to hate it because you said it was not your favorite.
Yeah.
Well, because it was spoiled for me. Because I get more into the story in single-player mode. Like,
me too.
There's different factions of Halo fans. There's the multiplayer diehards, and then there's the campaign diehards. I was a campaign diehard. I love the multiplayer too, but nowhere near as much as the main story.
Yeah, I would agree. And like you say, it was underwhelming for me at least.
Well, the big thing too is like the elites weren't the main focus of the enemy. It was basically, like Kevin said, the grunts. Or not grunts, but the brutes.
Wait, is that when you could get the brute hammer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved the brute
Well,
hammer.
the grab hammer you could get in the second one too, couldn't
I
you?
didn't think you could you?
Yeah.
You could mod the Tartar's hammer.
I thought like you said the grab hammer in the second one too.
No. No, because there's only one at that point. It's just the Fist of Rook, which Tartar's bashes.
And you could only use that for a short time.
So grab hammer was new to Halo 3 then.
Yeah.
Or am I getting mixed up with Destiny? The hammer. Wasn't there a big hammer in Destiny too?
No, there's a sword.
The sword. Okay, I think my games are getting.
There's a sword of Crota.
There's also a flaming hammer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it fizzles out after a bit.
But yeah, in Halo 3, I did like the hammers.
The hammer was fun.
But I've always told Ash, I said the real spiritual successor to the Halo franchise after Reach is Destiny.
Yeah.
Because it really does. That feels more like Halo than even Halo 4 did.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah, because we played through Halo 4 together, and Halo 4 is very calculated. So
It is.
I mean, I still enjoyed it, but it didn't feel like
Yeah.
Halo to me.
I love the fact of the didact. I thought it was a great idea for a concept of an antagonist
me
because
too.
he was just almighty, all powerful, and he's like, "You failed."
They do a terrible job of explaining who he is, though.
Exactly.
Well, I read the Forerunner trilogy. I
Cryptum.
read like a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked the concept of the didact. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it, like I say, they do a terrible, terrible job of explaining at all who he is or what he is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were mad that you had to like read 18 books to figure out who or what he is. And even in the books, they don't tell you who he is in the game because Silentum came out after Halo 4.
Right.
So you don't, I don't know. It wasn't handled the best. I liked what they were trying to do.
Yep. I like how you got more of a backstory because there was the didact who was a Forerunner, and then basically, I don't know if it was his partner or wife, the librarian,
The wife.
who basically betrayed him in the long run of things. And they created like a side campaign multiplayer mission called Spartan Ops, which I thought was gimmicky because I'm like, they got like spec ops things and Call of Duty. They're just copying Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But it turns out to be one of the more fun things, even though it's very repetitive, very redundant.
Yeah, a lot of people hate Spartan Ops.
I loved it. I thought it was
liked
great.
it. I like the story part, but the gameplay was very firefighty, repetitive.
Yes, very, like you said, repetitive.
Some of it drug on.
Yeah. You replay the same levels again and again at nauseum. It's just like, go here, hit this button, do that, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Shoot some enemies. Up, hold the outpost. Hold the outpost. It's like, ugh. But the cutscenes were outstanding. It added more to the story, which I loved. I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Spartan Ops was cool.
Mm-hmm. But Halo 4 multiplayer, I don't know if I ever played it. I think I might have played it 1 or 2 times. I remember, like, you could get, like, special drops put into the game. Like, if you got a certain number of kills, you could drop in, like, a saw or something.
The rec packs.
Yeah.
Or whatever those
oh,
were.
yeah. Halo 4 told you to get wrecked.
Oh, that was Halo 5.
That was Halo 5.
I was...
Yeah, rec packs were basically microtransactions.
Yeah.
Basically, you bought a whole bunch of stuff, and you get, like, a gold-plated sniper rifle. Woo!
Oh, boy.
You get... Yeah.
And you would come with a whole bunch of loadouts before your game even starts. So if you wanted, like, an anti-aircraft Wraith or something like that, you could basically bring in from the into battle.
Warzone in Halo 5 was really fun.
Yeah, because it basically added, it was you versus other players versus NPCs and AI characters. So it was like a free-for-all, all setting, which is kind of cool.
But then they did the Warzone firefight, where you didn't have to fight other people.
Yep.
Which was also pretty fun.
The strength of Halo 5, even though I hated Halo 5, was really the multiplayer, because it was really catered to the multiplayer crowd. The Halo 5 multiplayer was a lot of fun. It was great.
If you're into the high-speed, different movement mechanics.
Well, they're trying to keep up with, like, whatever the current generation of gamer is, like, really getting into. So that's kind of like more their speed. Yeah. So that's why going from that to Halo 2, it's like night and day.
That's one thing that the internet will tell you is that Bungie was setting the trends, and 343 was following them. Mm-hmm. They kind of lost it there, but...
Yep. Well, they're still trying to find their way, because they're still trying to capture that magic of what Halo really is. And that's why a lot of Halo fans they reach back in the past. Yeah. Like, we'll go back and have Halo parties and LAN parties and stuff like that, because...
You're not going to play Halo 4, you're not going to play Halo 5, you're not going to play Infinite, you're going to play Halo 1, 2, 3...
Well, the fact that also 343 is really cutting out, like, the floor of, like, a big portion of the crowd by eliminating split screen.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you do that? Because that was the whole point. Like, fathers and sons would play together on split screen to play through a campaign together. Now they can't. You got to buy your own console. You got to
spend more money to buy
exactly.
more
They force you to buy other consoles, other copies of the game.
And that, I think, is a Microsoft, not a 343.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's an overall parent company move to try and force extra sales.
Because 343 had promised up and down for Infinite. That split, we learned from Halo 5 not having split screen. It'll be there at launch. It'll be there. It wasn't there at launch. They kept apologizing for it. It's going to be there. It's going to be there. It's going to be there 6 months in. It's not coming.
No, the thing that really broke me from Halo was the Halo 5 marketing strategy, because the marketing department was told one thing, the developing department was told something completely differently, because the marketing for Halo 5 was so bait and switchy. They were talking about a completely different game that never took place.
And
they made it seem like it was a big, like, confrontation between...
I think the Ackman it was that did a series of these, and he's like, I'm pretty sure they only had the crappy Chief Lock fight scene in there just so they didn't get sued for not...
Basically false advertising.
False advertising, thank you, yes. That they only put that in there so they didn't get sued for false advertising.
Right. And it really was. Yeah. Like I said, that's where I say bait and switchy. They'd say they promise one thing and they deliver something completely different.
It wasn't Halo 5 like Master Chief wasn't in it a whole lot.
There was 15 levels. 3 levels were basically just go up and talk to somebody, and then there was 3 levels you play as Master Chief. The rest were all Spartan Locke and his team.
Which, again, I didn't mind, but the balance wasn't there, and I don't like fighting the Prometheans.
Well, they were supposed to, I guess it was the same company that ended up making, Star Wars, Star Wars Commando, where basically you fought as a squad.
Oh, yeah?
It was basically, I think they took that concept and implemented it in Halo, where you could press up on the D-pad and just say, hey, go attack him. Hey, go over there. Hey, do this.
Yeah, you could make the other group.
And you basically make your teammates go and attack other things for it. You don't have to do anything. If you're playing on easy mode, it is a cakewalk. Just go kill them. Hey, go kill them. Hey, go kill them.
And you can revive them or they can revive you, but if it's on a harder difficulty, they're useless.
Yeah, they basically just they're cannon fodder. So basically, go kill them, and then they're all down. You have to go back and save everybody. And it basically just turns into revive your platoon game the entire time.
That sounds counterproductive.
Yeah. That's basically what a Halo 5 experience was in campaign. It was hot
Some
garbage.
of the things people like the most from that game, though, is the Arbiter parts. Where you're on St. Helios, which was all really, really
Does he have
fun.
the gold armor in that game, too? Okay. Because I do like his gold armor. It looks awesome.
I think one of my favorite things to come from the Halo 5 era was the Hunt the Truth campaign. That was fantastic. It's easily one of my favorite pieces of media. It's so good as far as audio dramas go, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, they had a lot of different things they did, but like I said, Halo 4 and 5 really didn't feel truly like Halo. It just felt like something different.
It did feel
And
different.
it felt
I think it was the Prometheans for me in Halo 4 because
And the art style changes.
well, Halo 5, you weren't even playing as Master Chief for the most of the game. It was Spartan Locke. It's like, here's a new generation of like Halo people to get into.
And a lot of people like the introduction sequences for both teams. I might catch hell for this from the internet if the 17 people that listen to this ever figure this out. I hated, and I mean I hated, the introduction of Osiris.
Yep.
Because
They're just like jumping the shark, like, oh, they're flying down a mountain and they're killing everything.
I
and
just feel like that was like, oh, look how flashy and new and how much better these guys are.
it came across as very Gary Stu, Mary Sue type of thing. Where it's
I
just
know
like,
what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're just dominating everything in their path. They're just so awesome, outrageously cool.
Like
and-
we've just flown down this mountain. I blew through a giant boulder and I'm unfazed. And then, I don't know, I think that's like the new ones are very flashy and over the top. And then
Jump the shark is what I always call it.
And then blue team shows up and they're very subtle. They jump out of the thing, blow out a window, and go in, which I feel like is very on brand for them. And I feel like the dichotomy there, I think if that's what they were going for, they nailed it. I just didn't like I feel like they're trying to force the Spartan 4s down your throats a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're trying to make a strong introduction.
We're so cool.
Check out how
Look what you
awesome
do.
they are. Yeah. And it's just like, it doesn't come across that way. It comes across as like,
it was like
what the heck?
more extra than it needed to be.
Yeah. Jumping the shark, as I say.
Give me an Osiris game. For sure, I would play it and I would probably like it. I just don't like that was their main game.
Call it like Halo Secret Files or something like that, or some type of like,
Yeah, that could have very well just been Halo 5 Guardians. If there was another Halo 5 something else, Halo 5.
Well, they've done Halo Reach, which didn't have Master Chief,
Right.
So and it worked out well. So
if they would have had a Halo 5
or Halo Osiris would have been awesome,
That's like a cool title.
right?
Yeah.
That would have worked out way better.
Yeah, give me Halo 5 Chief Hunts Cortana game. Fine, make him the main play.
Yeah, but then Halo Osiris,
Yeah, if that would have been like an expansion, an add-on the way
Oh my God.
ODST was meant to be.
whole different thing.
Yeah, let me play from the other side. Let me do some stuff as Osiris. I would have been way cooler.
I agree, 100%. And you think they'd be trying to do that too? You think 343 would be trying to split their companies into like rotating like different games?
They try.
Yeah.
Microsoft won't let them. It's Microsoft. They've had like 30 pitches for other games to Microsoft, and Microsoft turns them down every time.
And this is why I'm scared to death since Bethesda, one of my other favorite gaming companies, was acquired by Microsoft. I'm worried. It's almost like a kiss of death. Anytime a company is acquired by Microsoft, their games turn to garbage. And I'm like, oh no.
Like the Helldivers game that just came out was supposed to be a Halo game. You were supposed to be ODST.
Really?
Yeah.
ODSTs.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it felt like ODSTs.
That's why it looks kind of like it, and a lot of the things are similar. That was supposed to be a
Wait,
Halo game.
what's it called?
Helldivers.
Helldivers?
Yeah, I'm
I
just like
wonder if
that.
I would like that.
I was like, this looks like ODSTs.
It's apparently like a super phenomenal game. that
The
everybody's-
marketing has been hysterical for it. Have you seen the parodies?
No.
Like, they'll just have like random like advertisement clips up, and all of a sudden it shows a guy coming in and just said, this could have been you, but blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, like some of the things, like you have to pick your ship and stuff, and it's all very Liberty Prime-esque from Fallout. Sort of like
America.
the way you name things is very
Independence.
Like,
Judgment.
it's things like that. Apparently, the game is very fun,
Yep.
but I think that type of game was pitched from 343 to Microsoft, and they were rejected. I don't know why they won't let them do things. They could make so much money.
Yep.
Microsoft loves money. I don't understand.
Yep. Like I said, Microsoft's got their own agenda with things. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
But it's like almost good stories get killed off just basically at the cutting room floor of everything. So
Like you make Halo games, nerds like me will consume them.
There's so many people that would play any new Halo game that you come out.
yeah,
Give me a Flood horror game. Give me a Forerunner Flood War RTS.
right.
Space RTS. Let Sins of the Prophets be an actual
Here's
game.
the thing: they did a space, not RTS, but like a new space game with Bethesda, Starfield.
Oh, Starfield.
And it's completely bombed, which is just
Yeah.
like utterly shocking to me because I'm like, they hyped that game up to be something spectacular, almost to the point of Halo-esque.
Give me
You
a-
were looking forward to that
I
too.
was, yeah. I had like Game Pass and all that stuff. I plopped in the game. I was like, this is extremely hollow. Like there is nothing of substance here. Like there's so much stuff to do, but yet at the same time, it's like, why do any of this?
Right.
Because it felt like a combination of like that Star Wars game that came out. What is it? It's some type of Jedi game. Jedi Survivor and stuff like
Oh, yeah.
that. So it felt like the new Jedi game, and it felt like a mishmash of like a little bit of Fallout and other stuff too. But yeah, just hollow.
You make a game that big though, it has to be hard to fill it.
And then you compare that to like a passion project that was Baldur's Gate, which is just destroying everything because it's so popular and it's a passion project.
And it's not
no oversight.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's no corporate oversight.
So they're basically at the liberty of making whatever the heck they want, and that's why it's selling so much better because people can they can sense bullshit.
Yeah, that and they hate having microtransactions and stuff rammed in their throats.
Yep, like Halo 5 did with the wreck packs
And every other game now,
get wrecked.
like people are still mad at Infinite about that. Mm-hmm. Isn't like when that game came out, nothing worked.
Yep.
Except the shop. And you got to
Of
pay.
course the shop worked.
You got to pay $20 for the
course it
color
is.
white.
But once again, that's what this generation likes. They like microtransactions and being able to like pay a few bucks here, a few bucks there, and nickel and diming people into like basically building your own specialized character.
And I don't mind a little bit of that for cosmetics and stuff.
Yep.
But
that's where they figured like, they make money off the AAA title of the game, but that's where the older games you couldn't make any more money unless you made like a map pack and then resold that, which they did at Halo 2.
and like in Infinite, when they did they went to the shader system instead of letting you pick your own colors. They were like, oh, it's so much better because we can do so much more cool stuff with textures and stuff. And yeah, you can. But when that game came out, every armor core had the color blue. And you know what you had to do? You had to pay $5 or $10 for the color blue for every armor core.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was shitty.
Nickel and diming.
I haven't played that game in months, 6 months at least.
I played it. I actually cheesed the game when Halo Infinite came out. I ended up having Game Pass at the time under I think it was a free trial. I beat the game within like a week. And I'm just like, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was hoping for DLC and it's just not happening.
Yep. So, and like you said, the grapple ability in that thing really sped up the game because it basically turned you into Spider Master Chief.
Yeah.
It's like, weep.
It broke the game.
So you want to fling around. It was kind of cool because you could hijack Banshee so much easier.
Yeah.
They'd fly over you, just go with the grappling thing and go up and just hijack them and whoop, off you go.
Yeah. I don't know. There's things about the game I liked and didn't like.
Oh, yeah.
I wish the brutes would have looked more the way they did in like Halo Wars. A little grittier and less plasticky and colorful. But they looked good. They were fun.
But yeah, just seeing the entire Halo franchise over the years, it's definitely just kind of careened more towards a downward spiral.
Yeah.
And it's been sad to see because like from where it was back when we were in high school and everything, oh my gosh, it was just a killer app.
And it's crazy because back then I liked the game so much more, and a lot of the things like that came out in books I didn't like at the time.
But now in hindsight, you're kind of appreciating it a little
I'm
bit more.
way more into the books than a lot of the games.
Yep. You know what's interesting? I think you could probably see a similar parallel with the Star Wars fan base because there's a lot of Star Wars fans that like the older movies and everything too, and even the old books. And as soon as Disney acquired them, much like when Microsoft basically had full control over 343, similar type of trajectory where everything's kind of like overly milked and it's gone
A
with
lot of people
narrative.
either like the new stuff or hate it as far as, well, Halo and Star Wars.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of game series where it starts off really strong and then it just goes
Yep.
down.
I don't know. I think Tomb Raider, because you've been getting into Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's been kind of on the rebound. I thought that's been doing well.
The rebound now, but like when Angel of Darkness came out, that just sucked. That game sucked.
Yep.
So bad.
Well, like I said, that could be our, Halo 4 and Halo 5 type of thing where it's just like, nah.
I still really enjoy Halo 4.
I like the story of Halo 4 and the Spartan Ops, but yeah, multiplayer, not really much of a fan.
I liked the design of the levels in Halo 4.
I remember it was the first level where you go through that one tunnel, you come out, and all of a sudden you're looking over that giant ravine
and there's
with the floating pyres, and it's like,
stuff,
whoa.
That was cool.
That's a take your breath away moment. Like they definitely captured that, but the sprint also sped up the game a lot in Halo 4.
Yeah, the sprint is still a huge internet thing. It's still a huge internet thing.
Yeah, there's a lot
Why
of
do
diehard
people
Halo.
not like it?
Yeah,
Yeah, either people love it or hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
I like it, but it does speed up your game a lot.
Because if you put it in multiplayer, if you would take a map from like Halo 2 and take that same map and put it in Halo 4, it just doesn't work.
Nope.
Because you can sprint across the map like that.
In like 2 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have to make the levels bigger.
Correct.
For no more reason than just fitting sprint.
Just to operate from the sprint factor. But that's where the different parts of different games,
different
makes for different
players.
Yeah, exactly. Makes for different experiences. That's why there's a lot from the younger generation, older Gen Z, and then the younger millennials They think of Halo more for Halo 3. That's their quintessential. They think of Halo is Halo 3.
Yeah.
So for us, we think of more Combat Evolved, and Halo 2 is really the bread and butter of true Halo.
Yeah, there's a lot. I spend a lot of time watching YouTube shit about Halo, and it's like either a lot of the guys either like Halo 2 or Halo 3 is their thing. But then some of the newer guys, Halo 5.
Yep.
Because of the multiplayer. Because they like that fast-paced.
And that's what they're trying to cater to, like, different generations. What do they approve of? And that's why most of this generation, even though it's getting older now, Fortnite was kind of like the watershed for them. They think to Fortnite like how we think back to Halo. You know, this is like their gold standard of what a game should be. And that's why I think the newer Halos try to capture that feel, and Call of Duty a little bit too.
Yeah.
So they try to make it feel like that. But I mean, I'm still up for like good old LAN parties and everything, because, oh my gosh, they were just unbelievably fun. Yeah. Just hear your friends screaming from across the way. So.
And stuffing your face with 10 pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
And cases of
pop. Have your golden retriever basically take a whole pizza box and like run down the stairs with it.
That was fantastic. I will treasure that memory forever.
Yeah.
Was that Max?
That was. Yeah, he loved pizza.
He walked down the hallway with an entire Little Caesars pizza. And there were people.
The pizza fell out of the box, and when he realized, he like ran back for the pizza.
People looked at each other like, did that shit just happen?
He was a wild puppy.
Good times.
Yeah, our Halo parties were just, off the hook, man. Oh my gosh.
They were something else.
Like I said, we got the equipment and stuff to get another one up and going again. So
I have like 5 TVs in my basement.
Yeah,
I keep getting them from work.
We're ready. So we've got all that stuff. I guess we got enough space, but to capture the essence of back then, like I said, I feel like those days are kind of like a bygone thing of the past.
I think they are.
As far as like the giant 16 players and everything like that.
You'll never, as old as we are now, and everybody's got lives and work and kids, and
it's tricky because. Trying to coordinate to
get that many people again,
herding cats.
Well, but like you were saying earlier, that guy on Marketplace was like, if you have a LAN party, please invite me.
Yep. Right. Which I've still got the guy's contact stuff. Which, like I said, that's another player. But there's a lot of guys from our generation in their 30s and 40s are trying to chase that high of being involved in another Halo LAN party.
I guarantee if things would if the stars would align, I guarantee a lot of people would love to.
If you put it out there in a public forum, I guarantee. Well, even the Halo 2 documentary, like. There's that one guy, over in Connecticut or something. Yeah. Every year he still has like an annual Halo party. I think that's brilliant. And you just pick a day and just have people get together and just like, here's the set weekend, here's the day, be there or don't be there. Yeah. Bring a couple of bucks with you, we'll buy some pizzas and we'll have a good old time. Yeah. So that's the way you really need to do it, because if not, then no one's going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's always been kind of my philosophy too with getting the Halo parties done in the past, was just like, if I'm not going to host these things, who will? Because nobody really ever took the initiative to do so.
Right.
So, and they turned out like they're core members with us now. It's awesome.
Yeah. So those are stuck for sure.
Mm-hmm. So,
I think the one LAN party I went to, I think you only had like maybe 10 people there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the glory days.
Oh yeah, well
that was like the core group that always came. The 32 people was a fluke.
It was. Well, that was a lot of people that were in younger grades than us and everything that were curious about Halo that might not have been essentially that great. Although Justin Salma was amazing.
Yeah, that was like when he showed up and
like he dominated everybody. We're like, holy crap, this guy's next level, because he played on live.
Yeah, there was a lot of actually like strange occurrences that like there was people that don't ever come to those that came to that. Yeah, that was a fluke.
Yep. Well, you get Lance up that would come. Pork Chop would probably come to one.
Bernie, James,
Bernie
Sean.
was good. Yeah. Sean kind of hung up his hat with Halo. Like, he kind of just, like, he got tired of it.
Yeah, so. he moved on, and I can understand.
Mm-hmm. We got more into Gears of War, in which I couldn't stand with all the glitches in the second one. I'm like,
I couldn't stand that multiplayer at all.
Mm-hmm.
The games were fun.
Oh, yeah. So the graphics were phenomenal back then.
Yeah.
So.
I never played the third one, though.
Mm-hmm. I never played the third one. I was too outraged by the second one with multiplayer. I'm just like, forget this game. I've busted many controllers over the course of time.
Yeah. The rage.
Mm-hmm.
The rage.
Yeah, Gears of War. But that was supposed to be as big as Halo as far as marketing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ever really took off as much as Halo did.
I don't think it did. It has its following.
Mm-hmm. No, but Halo into itself was just like an amazing killer app.
It was a phenomenon, to be sure.
But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. So, all right. Thank you guys for joining me and talking about, Halo in the good old days and
it's been real.
The potential of like where Halo could eventually go in the future. But we'll see what the future holds. So,
that's right.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, everybody, and have a good one. So. Take it easy.